Can you hear me? Am I audible now?
Can yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we were talking about secularism. So I was telling you that just a second, there are still people who are waiting. So secularism has basically two parts, two essential parts. First one is religious tolerance, and second one is equal treatment of all religious group. This thing you remember, okay? And I was asking you that what is this in religion? So if anyone can explain me, anybody, do you know about it? What is this? Secularism in India does not mean a religion. It means respect of all faiths and religions. And actually, the state does not identify itself with any particular religion. So this is what this is about secularism. And Article 25 to 28. So what does they talk about? Article 25 to 28. Anyone? What do they talk about? 25 to 28.
Right to freedom of
Right to
religion.
freedom
Right
of
to
religion.
freedom of religion.
Okay. So these articles confer certain rights relating to freedom of religion. Not okay. So my one question is that does it do these right cover only individual or
No, sir.
okay?
Group rights also. For example, you can
So who
construct.
else they cover?
Sir, 25
Yeah,
for a
they
person only, individual person only.
actually it cover religious groups also. So remember this thing. We were talking about 25 to 28. So they cover religious group only, not only individual citizen. And what does they do? They actually protect religion and religious practices from state interference. Now, there's a very famous case which is SR Bombay, in which Supreme Court has defined secularism in Indian context. So, if anyone has read that case or someone has idea about that, then you can tell me. Otherwise, I'll let you know. Anybody, if you have idea what Supreme Court said in SR Bombay case about secularism. This thing is very important, and quite often you must have seen that there is a one question related to
related to
Sorry, SR Bommai is about religion or federalism?
Avinash. Can you be
Avinash, can
little
you be
louder?
little louder?
So SR Bommai case is more famous on federalism aspect now, uh, like
Yeah,
center-state relationship.
yeah, but they have spoken about secularism also in Indian context.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
I
so
think
I'll tell you what court said. Court said religious tolerance and equal treatment of all religious groups and protection of their life and property and of the place of their worship are an essential part of secularism enshrined in our constitution. And particularly, they have talked about in Indian constitution. They did not talk about what happens in West and all. They have said they have spoken about Indian constitution. So there are two, three things which they have mentioned. First thing is that religious tolerance, and you can quote this case anywhere. If you are writing about secularism, you can quote and you can say that Supreme Court has said this thing. Then second thing, equal treatment of all religious group and their protection of their life and property. And their places of worship are essential part of secularism enshrined in our constitution. Remember this thing. First thing, religious tolerance. Second thing, that equal treatment for religious group. Third thing, protection of their life and property. And the last thing, the protection of their religious, their place of worship. So these are the four things which you need to remember. And you must have seen that there are instances when sometime temples, sometime mosques, sometime churches are being vandalized. So it is actually against the concept of secularism. So remember this thing always. So actually, when we talk about secularism, so our constitution gives freedom to the citizen of this country to profess, practice, and propagate such religion, faith, or belief as they choose. But when it comes to state, then the state has no faith, no belief, or no religion. Remember this thing. Did you get what I said?
Sir, can you repeat, sir?
Yeah, I was saying that while the citizens of this country are free to profess, practice, and propagate such religion and faith or belief as they choose, but when we talk about state, so when we are talking about state, then what happens in the case of state, that from the point of view of state, the religion, faith, or belief of a person is immaterial. We have seen in Article 14, in Article 15 and 16 that state cannot discriminate on the basis of religion. So same thing here I am saying, that when we are seeing religion from the point of view of state, then it does not matter to the state that person X, that say for example, if this person is X, so it doesn't matter to state that what is the religion of this person. If it is coming to state, then with its grievances, then the state will try to resolve them. Okay, but state won't see that what is the religion. So for state, all are equal and all are entitled to be treated equally. इतना समझ में आ गया आपको?
Yes, sir, आ गया.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if there is any step which is inconsistent with the constitutional policy, then it will be unconstitutional. Remember. So I want to ask one question, that secularism is part of basic structure or not? Anybody?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Also part
Okay.
of
And
the embodiment.
who's I mean, where does can you find somewhere in the constitution that it is written that it is the basic structure of the
No, sir,
sorry?
it was added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment.
No, I'm not asking. That is not my question. My question is very simple. Let me ask once again. My question is that where is it written that the secularism is the part of basic feature?
So preamble.
It was given in the judgment of this Boumai case.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Abhi. In SR Bombay case, the court said that secularism is the basic feature of the constitution. So remember this thing, and you can quote all these things because it may be relevant for prelims, but it is 100% relevant for your mains thing. So remember all this thing, and every time you'll get 10 marks question, right? So remember this thing. Now we'll talk about I'm not going to discuss Article 25 because we are already running out of the time, and if we discuss those things, then our entire session will go in that only. So this much only, and tomorrow I'll discuss about some interesting concept like what is profess, what is propagate, what is religion, So all these things I'll discuss for first 15 minutes, and thereafter we'll switch to our this regular task. So my first question is that who releases World Economic Outlook? Anybody?
IMF.
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 IMF. How often IMF releases World Economic Outlook?
Twice a
Twice in a
year.
year.
Twice in a year. Okay. And what is the what is the projection of IMF for India for 2021 and 2022 growth projection?
8.1.
Can you see this list? Can you see it?
Yes,
I
sir.
can see, but it's little
Yes.
blurry.
Okay, so for India, they have
12.5.
projected 12.5% for 2021, and in 2022, it's 6.9%. So I can see it is the highest for India in all the countries, 12.5%. So these are the real GDP projection. If anyone has anything to add in it, then you can. Otherwise, we'll discuss next topic.
Sir, highest in 2022 also, sir.
Yes. Anyone, if you have anything. And what is the growth projection for entire world?
So 6%.
6%.
Yeah, 6%. So remember this data, they may ask it, okay, and the reason is COVID. Otherwise, they wouldn't ask. So now we'll talk about Gulf of Guinea. So if you can tell me that how many countries border with Gulf of Guinea?
17, sir.
17 countries.
Yes.
12, sir, 12.
Sir.
Okay, so just let's count them.
Yes,
Is it
sir,
visible?
on WhatsApp.
Yes, I mean it's really software.
Hello.
Yes, Animesh. Go ahead.
Sir, write down line, LINE, line. LINES, lines. And then write in another line, go to doctor. DR, only DR, Dr. DR. In Cameroon and Gabon. Using cab. Okay, sir. L is Liberia.
Okay.
I is Ivory, Cote d'Ivoire.
So let's see their location. This is Cote d'Ivoire. This is Liberia. Okay.
Then N is Nigeria.
This is Nigeria. Okay, so I want to ask one question that which river drains into Gulf of Guyana? Very famous river.
Niger River, sir.
Yeah, Niger River. Yeah,
And
it
Volta
has
also.
And Volta also.
Volta and Niger. Remember these two river. These two river drains into, so Niger makes delta somewhere here, right? So yeah, Niger. Now what is
E
E?
is Equatorial Guinea. छोटा सा कंट्री है गैबोन के ऊपर सर.
This is Equatorial Guinea.
Then S is Sao Paulo, this Sao Tome Principe.
Where is it?
ये छोटा सा आइलैंड है सर, गल्फ ऑफ गिनी में, वो दिखता नहीं है किसी को.
अच्छा, क्या है ये?
दैट इज अ कंट्री. वो जो इक्वेटर जहाँ से पास हो रहा है ना गैबोन के सामने, वो एक है वो.
ए वाला
हाँ वो छोटा सा, हाँ वही वही.
यहाँ पे है ना?
हाँ दैट इज साओ टोमे प्रिंसिपी. दैट इज अ कंट्री.
Which country is this?
साओ टोमे प्रिंसिपी. जस्ट साओ टोमे इज आल्सो कॉल्ड.
This Sao Tome.
यस सर.
Okay.
Then go to Geo is Gabon.
This is Gabon.
TO is Togo. Togo.
Togo is here.
Then DR is DR Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yeah, DR is here. Democratic.
Then in is just pillar in, nothing foreign. Cameroon is Cameroon.
Cameroon is Cameroon. Gabon is Gabon.
Sorry, Gabon is Gabon. Geo was Ghana. Sorry sir, that was Ghana.
This is Ghana. G for Ghana.
Then the CAB is what was left? Congo, Angola, and Benin.
Angola. Congo we are already done, no?
No, there are two countries, Congo and Democratic Republic of Congo. ये गैबोन और
Okay,
DDR के
okay.
बीच में कॉन्गो है.
यहाँ पे एक कंट्री है ना? ठीक है, हो गया. एक ही कंट्री ये है. और
बी इज बेनिन. वो ऊपर छोटा सा टोगो के बगल में बेनिन है.
ए वाला, ए बेनिन, इक्वेटोरियल गिनी. इसके अलावा
Sir, and in Wikipedia these countries are not mentioned, like Sierra Leone and Guinea were not mentioned in Gulf of Guinea.
yeah, they said that it is
कुछ गलत
extended
है,
to
मतलब
Liberia
Wikipedia
to
की तो उसमें.
Liberia to Angola, but
It's Senegal to Angola, sir.
it's Guinea also. This is Guinea, and this is Zambia. Zambia, Guinea, Bissau. Sorry, this is Guinea, Bissau. This is Zambia. This one. So if we consider these three countries also, Zambia, Guinea, Bissau, and Sierra Leone, then there are another three countries. Actually, this map is given by CSIS, and CSIS is one of the biggest think tank of United States of America.
Okay, sir. Then we can include them also. Senegal is also there then.
Which one?
Senegal वो गाम्बिया के ऊपर एक छोटा सा कंट्री.
एक ऊपर है. इसको मैं एक बार साफ कर देता हूँ और अच्छे से एक बार हम लोग देख लेते हैं. ये विजिबल तो है ना पूरा?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, एक चीज बताओ कि यहाँ पे बहुत कम हार्बर है, ऐसा क्या रीजन है?
Piracy, sir. Pirates. Issue
नहीं,
of
अरे
piracy, sir.
मैं ज्योग्राफिकल रीजन पूछ रहा हूँ. मैं ये पायरेट्स
Sir, continental shelf जो है वो बहुत shallow है.
चलो, हाँ एग्जैक्टली यही रीजन है. तो यहाँ पे जो है ना बहुत कम वो है. थोड़ा सा आप लोग ये सब चीजें देखते रहा करो. ये सब पूछ लेगी यूपीएससी और वो कुछ भी पूछ लेती है अनफंड.
So, because continental shelves are not there.
This is the
As
reason.
it continental drift theory के according it parted away from South America.
So this is Shanghai, this is Zambia, this is Guinea-Bissau, this is Guinea, and this is Sierra Leone, this is Liberia, this is Cote d'Ivoire, this is Ghana, this is Togo, this is Benin Equatorial Guinea, this is Nigeria. So Niger River mixed delta somewhere here, and this is Cameroon, this is Equatorial Guinea, and then this is Gabon, and this is Republic of Congo, and then this is Democratic Republic of Congo, and this is Angola. And this is, what was the name of this? South?
Sao Tome.
Sao Tome. Tome.
South Tome. So these are the countries which border with Gulf of Guinea. Now, if anyone has anything to add, then you can.
Sir, I don't think the
So I had a point.
Sao Tome is a country, sir. Sir, it's
So,
located on Central African island, so like it to be declared as a country. It's just
Just confirm it, just see if it is a country or not. If it is
sir,
a country,
I had,
then yes.
sir, Gulf of Guinea is the place where the prime meridian and the equator will cut at right angle.
Okay, they cut at right angle, but so you're saying that both of them passes through 0 degree, right? That is what you're
Yes, sir.
saying.
Yes, sir.
This is also longitude, also 0 degree. Latitude is also 0 degree.
Latitude also 0 degree. Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else?
sir, it has 4.5% of world's oil reserve and
Oil reserve.
Yes, sir. That was basically because of a historical deposition of sediments by the Niger River.
Okay, so have you heard about continental drift theory?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there is something related to continental drift theory. I mean, Gulf of Guinea gives a classic example of continental drift theory. So if anyone can explain this thing.
Sir, the gold reserves found in Africa does not pierce the that is found in Brazil and not here.
It doesn't bear the veins.
Vein.
So this is Niger Delta, and this is Niger River. So Niger is the, what is the status of Niger River? Is it the second longest river of Africa? If I say that Niger is the second longest river of Africa, then this statement is correct or incorrect?
No, sir.
Sir, Congo is the second, I suppose.
No, sir.
Niger is third.
Okay. So you can see these countries, and that was, now we'll talk about Gulf of Mexico. So my first question is that, tell me the name of that channel which connects it with Caribbean Sea.
Sir, Panama?
No.
Florida. Yucatan Channel.
Yucatan Channel.
Yucatan Channel.
Yeah, Yucatan Channel. And the channel which connects it with Atlantic Sea. What is that?
States of Florida.
State of Florida.
Florida state.
Yes. Sorry, Atlantic Ocean. So it's a partially landlocked body of water, and these two things we have discussed: the state of Florida and Yucatan Channel. So Yucatan Channel connects it with Caribbean Sea, and the state of Florida connected with Atlantic Ocean. And there are currents, so you need to focus on those currents. So can you please tell me that how many countries border with Gulf of Mexico? I mean, I'm pronouncing it Mexico. So the reason is we call it Mexico, okay. But I have got this habit by watching this Spanish drama, and also they call it Mexico. So do not confuse. It's the same thing, Mexico.
USA and Mexico.
Okay. Any other country?
Cuba.
Animit, what do you say?
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, Canada and Guatemala minorly.
This is. So I want to ask the name of river also. Tell me the name of some rivers which drains into
Mississippi.
Some Mississippi, Rio Grande, Colorado.
and any other river.
Mobile, Panuco.
Can anyone tell me that?
Mississippi.
Yes. Anybody, if you can tell me where is this Yucatan Channel? This,
Between
right?
Cuba and Mexico, yes, sir.
And somewhere here, this Florida Strait, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So let's see next map. There is another map also. Yeah. This is state of Florida. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And this is Yucatan Channel. And so, Animes, you were saying that, see, this is United States of America, and this is Mexico, and you were talking about Guatemala also. So this is Cuba, right? Cuba is there, and let me see next another map where I can see.
Sir, it was mentioned in wiki, but on map I also could not find it.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they have some island or something like that in this, then we can't say. So these are some river. This Mississippi River. Second is Rio Grande River, and the third one is this Gihi Alba, and this Use Macinta. These are the four important river, and somebody said Colorado River also, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other river? So I'll give you this thing, and I have mentioned in notes also. This focus on this loop current and this detached eddy. Okay, these two things you need to focus. And what I'll do in next round, we'll discuss all the current. Once we are done with all these things, so we'll discuss currents also. But focus right now, just go through it, and I have given detail in the note, so go through that. And now we'll talk about three other national park. So this is Simbal Bara National Park, which is located in Himachal Pradesh. And so I want to. Yesterday I had asked that how many national park are there, and somebody said 5 national park are there. So yes, 5 national park are there, but there was some news that Kheer Ganga National Park and the Great Himalayan National Park are being merged. So what is the current status? Are they individual national park, or they got merged?
Sir, on Himachal Pradesh website, they are showing 5 only.
Yeah, that's what. But I have, I read some articles where they have mentioned that they are being merged, and all this committee and wildlife board, everybody had given their note to merge them. So I don't know what is the status. However, if we consider the website of Himachal Pradesh, that is website of government. So there are 5, and this Simlawara National Park. So it is located in basically somewhere Nahan, right? In Nahan district, somewhere around Sirmaur or Nahan district. Okay, and then we can find pine, eucalyptus, kher, sal, and riverine forest. So we can find pine, eucalyptus, and kher, sal. So can you please divide them in terms of forest? In which kind of forest we can find pine tree?
Sir, alpine forest, the mountain forest.
Yes, alpine mountain forest we can find. And what about sal and kher and eucalyptus?
Sir, they are deciduous forest.
Deciduous forest. So what is the status of leopard?
Vulnerable. Vulnerable.
आप लोग चेक करते रहा करो, अगर कोई गलत बोल रहा हो तो एक बार दूसरा बंदा प्लीज क्रॉस चेक इट. What is the status of sambar?
Vulnerable.
So vulnerable.
Okay, vulnerable. What about ghoral?
Vulnerable.
What about barking deer?
Please concern, please.
Please control.
What about jackal? Hornbill. What is the status of hornbill? Anyone?
Endangered.
Sir, no, it was vulnerable. But on IUCN, it is near threatened, sir.
Hornbill is near threatened, right?
Vulnerable.
Sir, actually, there are 2 types of hornbill. The one is Great Indian Hornbill,
Great Indian
and
hornbill.
other is Grey Hornbill. So, Grey Hornbill is least concerned, and Great Indian Hornbill is vulnerable or near threatened.
This great Indian hornbill is near threatened or vulnerable. What is this?
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
Great
Sir,
hornbill is
vulnerable on
vulnerable.
Vulnerable is vulnerable
Wikipedia.
Okay.
in IUCN site.
So for all these things, refer IUCN. Sometime on Wikipedia it is mentioned correct, sometime it is not. And Kheer Ganga National Park and this Indar Kila National Park, both of them are located in Kullu district in Himachal Pradesh. So there is nothing much about these national park. If anyone has any additional information, then you are welcome to add. Anybody? Now we'll talk about Asian Development Bank. So my first question is that USA, Japan, India, China, Australia. Arrange these 5 countries in terms of highest to lowest investment, equity or investment or share, whatever you want to say, in Asian Development Bank.
So
High
USA.
to
Japan
For
and US are
Japan,
same rule.
USA, China, India.
China,
USA,
India, and
Japan,
Australia.
China, India, Australia.
China, India, Australia. So you are saying that Japan has the highest share, or Japan or USA
Japan and US same.
Same
Equal.
like Japan.
same.
Same.
right? So Japan and USA number one. They both have same share. Okay, and thereafter followed by China and then India and then Australia. And how many countries are there in Asian Development Bank?
68.
68 countries.
Initially, how many countries were there?
31.
31.
31.
Okay, where is the headquarter of Asian Development Bank?
Manila, Philippines.
Manila, Philippines.
Okay, and which country is, I mean, when we talk about borrowing, so which
India.
country is India or China?
India. I
China.
guess.
China, sir.
It's China. Okay,
Okay.
followed by India. Sorry, it's yeah, China followed by India. India is second country. Okay, so what is the purpose of Asian Development Bank? Can we say that it is the copy of World Bank?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Modeled of the same structure.
Okay, and what about voting provision? Is it same?
Same
that
like the World Bank.
Okay, and what else should I ask? When did India join it?
Since the starting, it was actually one of the founding members.
Okay,
66 or 1966.
and when was it established?
19th December 1996.
1966.
Oh, 1966.
Yeah, 1966 only I have mentioned. Any other thing? Yeah, what does it do? Does it give only loan or does it provide grant also?
It provides grants also.
Okay.
So what's the difference between loan and grants?
लोन वापस करना पड़ता है, ग्रांट वापस नहीं करनी पड़ती है, बहुत सिंपल है. ग्रांट मतलब एक तरीके से दान, मदद. आपने यूजीसी, is there anyone who has cleared GRF? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you must be getting some 35,000 rupees per month, right?
Yes, sir. It is a junior research fellowship. It is a
Yeah,
fellowship.
fellowship. It's a kind of grant only, right? It's a kind of stipend which you receive, a fellowship, but it's a kind of grant. You don't need to return this money. And when you're talking about loan, so in loan there is they'll say that 2%, 3%, you have to return in 10 years, 5 years. समझ में आ गया आपको?
Yes, sir.
इसके अलावा हाँ, जो तकेसी वातनाबे जो थे, he was Japanese, he was the first president of ADB. तो मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है कि जापान के अलावा कोई ऐसी कंट्री है जहां से और भी इसके प्रेसिडेंट बने हो कि सिर्फ जापानीज ही प्रेसिडेंट बने हैं अभी तक?
Sir, only
Still
Japanese
Japanese.
president.
Only Japanese.
हाँ, जापानीज के अलावा there is nobody from out of Japan who has become president of ADB. तो ये चीज आप लोग थोड़ा सा याद रख लेना. और इसके बाद हमने अभी कल कौन सा इंस्टीट्यूशन किया था?
एशियन.
सार्क.
एशियान सार्क. उससे पहले कौन सा किया था? So you can see the share. China holds 6.429%, India holds 6.317%, and as of 31st December 2018, Japan and United States each holds the largest proportion of shares, that is 15.571%, and Australia 5.773%. And Asian Development Bank is an official United Nations observer. And now we'll talk about UNCLOS.
I have
Yes.
sir, isn't the current vice president of Asian Development Bank Indian?
I don't know about vice president, but they
Yes,
have.
sir. I read it that Ashok Lavasa is the vice president, who is
Yes,
the
sir.
election commissioner.
CEC, Chief Election Commissioner,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, CEC.
So
One thing I want
So
to
the
add, sir.
president is only Japanese.
yes, president is only
Till
Japanese.
now,
Yes,
only
Abhi,
Japanese.
go ahead, go ahead.
Sir, the Indian government agency handling the ADB affairs is Department of Economic Affairs.
Okay. And anything else? एक बार आप लोग देख लेना कि इंडिया में कौन कौन से प्रोजेक्ट वर्ल्ड बैंक की असिस्टेंस से चल रहे हैं और कौन कौन से एडीबी की असिस्टेंस से चल रहे हैं। ठीक है, ये चीज आप लोग एक बार देख लेना। जैसे एक डैम का प्रोजेक्ट था, कोई बता सकता है कि जो डैम को ठीक ठाक करने के लिए एक प्रोजेक्ट आया था, जितनी भी डैम्स थे उनमें जो भी
सर
प्रॉब्लम थी,
ड्रिप प्रोजेक्ट या धर्मा पोर्टल?
ऐसा कुछ, हाँ शायद ड्रिप ही था। तो वो वर्ल्ड बैंक
डैम रिहेबिलिटेशन।
हाँ, तो ये जो है वर्ल्ड बैंक की उससे असिस्टेंस से चल रहा था। तो एक बार इसको देख लेना आप लोग। नाउ वील टॉक अबाउट UNCLOS। ये न्यूज में क्यों थी, कोई बता सकता है?
सर वो केन्या और सोमालिया में लड़ाई हो रही थी।
उसके अलावा
सर अभी यूएसए ने
marine case में Kerala.
हाँ, तो यूएस का एक कोई जॉन सिप का नेम कोई जॉन करके है, और वो जो है लक्षद्वीप इंडिया का जो EEZ है उसमें से बिना परमिशन के निकला। ठीक है, तो इंडिया ने कहा कि भाई वायलेशन है इस ट्रीटी का। तो ये ट्रीटी बहुत सारी चीजों की बात करती है, तो आप मुझे बताएंगे कि ये कब आई, कैसे आई और क्या है इसका पर्पस? एनीवन?
Sir, this was resulted in third UNCLOS meeting held between 1973 to 1982. So 1982 में इसका कन्वेंशन कंक्लूड हुआ था, एंड जब गुयाना 60th नेशन ने इसको रेटिफाई किया था तब ये फोर्स में आया था 1994 में।
What was the purpose of having this, and which convention it has replaced?
Sir, it defines the rights and responsibility of nation with respect to the world ocean, management of natural resources of marine resources.
Anish, my question is that before this treaty, there was something in the place, some convention.
So,
what was the name of that convention?
So, Quad Treaty, Convention on High Seas.
Anything else?
Maritime Convention.
Anyone? So basically what happened that in this treaty in 1994 it came into force, and this treaty is basically to all this related to law and order related to world's ocean and seas, and it governs all the how oceans should be used and how resources should be used, how the resources should be distributed, or should be distributed, and who can use what proportion of those resources. It defines all these things. It defines territorial waters, defines EEZ, all these things. So my first question is that when we are talking about territorial water, what does it mean? Anybody?
24 nautical miles from the land territory.
12 nautical miles.
It's
12
12
nautical miles
12.
for territorial waters and 200 for EEZ.
200 from
24
this where the
200.
soil ending, or from this shoreline?
The shoreline.
Shoreline, sir.
Okay. So what is the difference between this territorial and EEZ?
So, in the EEZ area, India or other country, like for a country's EEZ, it can mine for minerals and all the oils and everything. Like it has got those rights. And territorial waters, mein no one else can intrude. EEZ, mein one can intrude, but with prior consent.
So if I say that India got the sovereign right over its EEZ, this statement is correct or incorrect?
Incorrect, sir.
So only for research and mining and everything.
It's only related to uh, this resources only. Okay. So in
Yes,
the
sir.
when we are talking about resources, so yeah, it has kind of sovereign right. However, it cannot claim that this is our area. It can claim area up to 12 nautical miles. Okay, which is territorial water. Remember this thing. And one more thing I want to ask that yes. So what is the issue between India and USA? It said USA is saying no, we did not violate it because safe. Have you heard about a concept called safe passes? This thing have you heard?
Sir, they were saying that they didn't perform any military formation. They were just maneuvering with simple passes.
Can
So
anybody tell me about what is innocent passes?
is it related to the FONOPS?
Anyone else?
Sir, both civilian and military ships are allowed to pass through that, I think.
So, foreign vessels can pass through the right to from the passage from the zone, but the ships are refrained from engaging into activities, certain activities like spying, smuggling, etc.
Have you heard that there are two kind of ship? One is warship and another is this normal one, the civilian ship. So when we are talking about innocent passes, then
Without
this
knowing,
warship, yes.
without knowing the international boundary, entering into another boundary.
Can you repeat once again?
Without knowing the international boundaries, sir. So it was like kind of a trespassing, unexpectedly or unwillingly.
You are talking about innocent passes, right?
Yes, sir.
So you are saying that it's kind of intrusion in
Yes, sir.
the anybody else?
Sir, for both type of ships, there should be a prior consideration from coastal guards, sir. Then they can enter and go with EEZ.
See, I tell you what is innocent passes. So what happens that there are certain activities which are prohibited. Say, for example, they cannot spy, they cannot smuggle. So someone was telling all those things that someone cannot make serious pollution, fishing and all. Scientific research also cannot be made without permission. Okay, so they just can pass. So say, for example, this is your water, so innocent passes gives them permission to pass through it. However, they cannot include in weapon testing, spying, smuggling, these kind of things. So remember this thing. So this is innocent passes that they can just pass. Did you understand what is innocent passes?
Yes, sir.
So they have got this right to pass through this zone, and that is for your 12 nautical mile. Remember this thing that each country's sovereign territorial water extend to a maximum of 12 nautical miles beyond its coast, and foreign vessels have this right to pass through this zone. Okay, but there are certain activities which are prohibited. And one more thing I wanted to ask that, say for example, this is India, this is Pakistan, and their area is overlapping. There is a area which is overlapping. So Pakistan is saying this is my area, and India is saying this is my area. Then in this case, what should be done, and what happens?
The area will be equally divided between two countries.
And who will divide this?
International Seabed Authority.
Yes. So all these things are actually, it governs the sea, it governs the ocean. This is one of the, I mean, I can say this is, if we have to say constitution, then this is the constitution to govern the sea. Did you understand? It defines EEZ, it defines your, and what is high sea?
Where humanity has collective rights. UN is the custodian. After the
Ocean
No
surface
country
beyond
has
the
jurisdiction on that.
it's after the EEZ.
Yes, beyond EEZ. Anyone has
Sir,
anything to add? Yes.
sir, if there is a scientific exploration in high water and any country found that, so they have their sovereign rights over that particular those findings, like it can be oil, gas, anything, sir.
Actually, it's not and that easy, okay? And nobody can claim those things. They can do, but there are a lot of procedure and lot of things which they need to follow. So in high sea, they cannot claim things. There is no sovereign claim in high sea. अगर ऐसा हो जाता तो फिर तो हर आदमी हर कंट्री क्लेम करना शुरू कर देता तो that is the reason this law is there and there are authorities for which they need to take permission and after taking permission if they are taking then they get the right.
Okay, sir.
Anybody else, if you have anything to add?
Sir,
Yes.
the UN Secretariat has no direct operational role in implementation of the convention. It is implemented by various institutions like IMO, International Whaling Commission, International Seabed Authority.
And sir,
What's continental shelf?
Extension of land area into the sea region.
Okay. Anybody has anything to add? Otherwise, we'll move to some other topic.
Sir, is this decision of this body is legally binding?
Decision of?
So, like in case of dispute, like in case of Pakistan and India.
Yes, they are legally binding. Because what happens then they will go to court and then there are many cases in ICJ. They go to ICJ and then ICJ, whatever ICJ, it has become kind of convention, okay, and they'll have to abide by the sentence on the whatever decision ICJ is making. So if there is any dispute related to these things, then they go to ICJ, International Court of Justice.
So it means a recent violation, if India wants, then they can claim in ICJ.
See, there are three things. So US has different interpretation, India has different interpretation. US saying no, we did not violate anything. This is our what they are calling that excessive economic zone. Okay. For EEZ, they are calling that it's a excessive economic zone. That's what US is saying. But what India is saying, and they are saying that this is their free exploration of, I don't know what these kind of things they are saying, that it's a free exploration in the sea, and India is saying that first they need to take permission, then only their warship can come and do all these activities. So that is what India's claim. So right now nobody knows that who is correct, who is not. However, if they want to go to ICJ, then ICJ will decide what is this. So it has been, I mean, subject to interpretation. So India is interpreting it in its own way, and same thing US is doing.
Sir, USA has also not accepted the convention, so India can also can India drag US into ICJ?
Both parties should be agree to go to ICJ. This is first condition if you want
So
to go to ICJ.
So the
Okay.
USA claims that it has the freedom of navigation of seas, so
Yes.
FONOPS, under which it can like go to the any sea, like other than territorial waters, it can navigate any sea. So isn't it legally wrong? I mean, according to this UN clause.
It is legally wrong, but the thing is that there is no clear-cut definition of anything. Okay, there is a definition of EEZ, but there is a they have said that they have sovereign right over the resources.
So, but isn't it that they have given this right to themselves
Yeah,
to the
US
Philippine
yes, obviously USA has given. That is the reason India is interpreting in its own way. USA is doing in its own way. USA ने उसको freedom of क्या बोलते हैं जो भी
navigation?
नेविगेशन एंड ऑल बोल दिया एक्सप्लोरेशन करने के लिए. बाकी इंडिया इज सेइंग कि इंडिया जो ट्रीटी का टेक्स्ट है उसके हिसाब से इंडिया जा रहा है. तो ये तो अब काफी डिस्प्यूटेड चीज है. और यूएस इज नॉट डूइंग विद दिस थिंग इंडिया. USA is doing with other countries also. Most of the time you must have heard कि अभी साउथ चाइना सी में चला गया, कभी इधर ईस्ट चाइना सी में चला गया. इस तरीके से यूएसए करता रहता है.
The USA is wanderlust.
It's not only wanderlust, इसको जमीन चाहिए, इसको हर जगह अपनी प्रेजेंस चाहिए. If you
world power.
if you see USA is present everywhere, be it Middle East, be it Southeast Asia, be it this Chinese, Russian, everywhere they are, everywhere in the world they are, and हर जगह लड़ाई करवाते हैं और फिर अपने हथियार बेचते हैं.
True.
अभी अगर देखा जाए तो लोग बोलते थे कि भाई ऑयल इज द गोल्ड. ठीक है, ऑब्वियसली ऑयल इज द गोल्ड. तो सबसे ज्यादा जो ऑयल अगर देखेंगे तो मिडिल ईस्ट रीजन में सबसे ज्यादा ऑयल की रिजर्व थे. बट यूएसए ने क्या करवाया, बहुत सारी कंट्रीज ऐसी हैं दो बहुत पुअर हैं, बहुत पैथेटिक सिचुएशन में जी रही हैं. आप अगर उनकी रैंकिंग किसी भी इंडेक्स में देखोगे, सीरिया हो गया, ये सब बॉटम में रहती हैं हमेशा, जबकि इनके पास इतने रिसोर्सेज हैं, सब कुछ है. इसके होने के बाद भी दैट इज द रीजन यूएसए कर रहा है कि व्हाट यूएसए सेज कि यूएसए एक पार्टी को सपोर्ट करता है और बोलता है कि हम तुम्हें प्रोटेक्शन देंगे, और दूसरे से लड़वाता है, फिर दूसरे को भी अपने हथियार बेच देता है, इनको भी बेचता रहता है. दैट्स व्हाट दे आर डूइंग. यही अंग्रेज करते थे. तो जो यूएस में भी लोग हैं वो तो हैं तो ब्रिटिशर्स ही एक तरीके से. आपको तो ये पता होगा ना वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री के बारे में.
यस सर, वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री.
हाँ, कि ये सब ब्रिटेन के लोग जाके बस गए थे, फिर इन्होंने जो है रेबल बन गए लोग वहां. तो इस तरीके से है. सो दे आर वेरी स्मार्ट पीपल. अभी आप देखो इंडिया में कि कुछ ही जगह हैं जहाँ एक टॉय ट्रेन चलती है. फॉर एग्जांपल शिमला देख लो आप, या दार्जिलिंग देख लो. हम लोग टॉय ट्रेन क्यों नहीं बना पाए इंडिया में? ब्रिटिशर्स के जाने के बाद हम लोग, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल शिलोंग है, तो अगर कोई भी नॉर्थ ईस्ट से होगा वो होगा, तो आप लोगों ने देखा होगा शिलोंग में ना तो रेल कनेक्टिविटी है, कुछ नहीं है. गुवाहाटी से आपको जाना हो तो 4 से 5 घंटे, लगभग 4 घंटे लग ही जाते हैं आराम से. तो अगर आप ट्रेन देखोगे तो सेम ही ट्रेन है जो शिमला जाने के लिए होता है, वही सिमिलर एकदम शिलोंग जाने के लिए. लेकिन शिलोंग में नहीं बना पाए ना हम लोग, जबकि ब्रिटिशर्स ने हमसे बनवाया है. इंडियंस थे सिर्फ वहां, उनके एक दो चीफ इंजीनियर और आर्किटेक्ट लोग आ जाते थे, वो करवाते थे. हम लोगों ने कुछ किया ही नहीं है. दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम. और हम लोग करेंगे भी नहीं कुछ. Okay, so now we'll talk about those 5 terms and then we'll end this session here.
एक क्वेश्चन था.
हाँ
सर, अगर दो कंट्री आसपास हैं और दोनों के इकोनॉमिक एक्सक्लूसिव जोन, वो
एक्चुअली अभी होता क्या है कि सीवेड अथॉरिटी है और जो भी है, तो इनकी अथॉरिटी बनी है तो वो एक क्लियर कट बाउंड्री खींचती है कि ये बाउंड्री है यहाँ तक आपका है, ये बाउंड्री है यहाँ तक आपका है. नाउ यू कैन आस्क अबाउट लैंडलॉक्ड कंट्री आल्सो. अब लैंडलॉक्ड कंट्री है तो उनके लिए तो कुछ नहीं है ना, तो उनके लिए भी चीजें दी गई है.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. किसी को कुछ और ऐड करना है? If you have anything to add.
Sir, India has made the Chenab Rail Arch Bridge recently, sir. So it was in news. So
हाँ वो
so India has made this. I think,
लार्जेस्ट है, अभी धीरे धीरे बना रहे हैं ना, उसमें भी टेक्नोलॉजी देख लेना कहाँ से आई है, कहाँ के लोग काम कर रहे हैं, किसको वो मिला है। मोस्टली बाहर की होते हैं जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर होते हैं। So we'll
fund
talk
तो
about
सर हम ही देते हैं।
this natar. So what does this mean? What is nyay? Anybody?
Justice.
No, I'm not talking about justice. I'm talking about some in historical things in the context of history or in the context of culture.
It's one of the orthodox schools of philosophy.
Yes. And what about Parinibbana?
That's Parinirvana,
Buddha passed away.
same as Parinirvana.
Yeah, the passing away of Buddha. And what is Nibbana?
Salvation.
Yes, salvation. So liberation from the cycle of birth and death. And what about Parmitaj? What is this? So it means that perfection whose attainment led to the Bodhisattva path is some Mahayana idea. Okay, so we are done for the day, and if anyone has any question or anything, then you can ask. And before that, I want to discuss